Every seed that you plant will bear fruit. But whether it be good or bad fruit is entirely up to you. Hello, my tribe, and welcome back to this week's video. A man was one day driving on the highway, and from a distance far off he could tell that the old lady ahead was in need of help. So he pulled up next to a Mercedes-Benz, silk and sweet car to help. The young man smiled at the old lady, but even with that smile, the old lady did not feel safe because the young man looked poor, he looked hungry. She began to question, is he going to hurt me? What are his intentions for helping? Even though she had been there for over an hour with no one helping, these were the questions that ran through her mind. The young man could tell from the look on the old lady's face that she was scared out there in the cold. So to calm her nerves down, he said, "Ma'am, I'm here to help you. If you don't mind, stay inside the car where you will be warm as I try to see how to fix the car." He stretched out his hands and said, "By the way, my name is Casabante." When Casabante examined what the problem of the car was, he realized that it was just a flat tire. But for an old lady, that was a lot of trouble, enough to cause her some scare. He got under the car and started to unscrew and try to fix the new tires. As he kept unscrewing, he had to get dirty and his hands started hurting. As he continued, the old lady worn down her glass and started talking with Casabante. She mentioned where she was from, and Casabante listened as he went on unscrewing the flat tire. The old lady was so thankful as Casabante closed the trunk of her car after fixing the tire. The old lady asked him how much was her bill. Casabante smiled and said, "You don't need to pay me anything, ma. My intention is just to help and be of service." The old lady was willing to pay any amount because she could afford it. But it never occurred to Casabante that payment was why he was doing this, because in the past Casabante had been helped, had been given a hand, and there was no other way he knew to live than to serve other people. The old lady insisted that she had to pay something. But Casabante went on to say, "If you really must pay, the next time you see someone that needs help, give them whatever assistance they need. And think about me. That way you have paid me back." The old lady got back into her car, turned on the ignition, and drove off while Casabante stood and ensured that she had gone safely. Casabante drove back to his own house, excited and happy that he had been able to help someone that day, even though it had been a depressing day for him. A few miles down the road, the old lady decided to pull into a restaurant to grab a bite and somehow take out the cold in her. As she sat waiting to make her order, the waitress came along with a profound and heartfelt smile, bringing her some towels to dry her hair. Waitress has been standing almost all through the day, yet that did not diminish her smile and her sense of service. The old lady observed at a close distance that the waitress was quite heavy with pregnancy. Even in the midst of all that, the pregnancy and standing for quite long, the aches, the strain, the pain, the waitress never allowed that to show in the quality of how she served all strangers that walked into the restaurant. The old lady was quite amazed and wondered how she could do it. And the process of that amazement, she remembered Casabante. After the old lady finished her meal, she slipped 100,000 shillings into the pouch, and the waitress came to pick it, headed to bring her back a change. But before she could come back, the old lady had slipped out the door. But under her plate, she wrote on the tissue paper a message. When the waitress returned with the balance, she couldn't find the old lady. She was surprised, looking and checking where could the old lady be. But as she kept searching, she found the napkin on which the old lady left a message. There was tears dripping down her face as she read through the lines of the message, where the old lady said, "You do not owe me anything. I have been there once and somebody helped me. If you really want to pay me back, pay it forward to somebody else, and do not let this chain of love break with you." Under the napkin were 4 other notes of 50,000 shillings. When she got back home that night and climbed the bed to sleep, she kept pondering about the incident that had happened earlier on and wondered how the lady could know that she needed that money, because the next month she was going to give birth, and wondered how she and her husband would cope with the bills. She knew how worried her husband was laying there beside her on that bed that night. She pulled him closer to him, gave him a soft kiss, and whispered in his ears, "Everything will be alright. I love you, Casabante." Casabante put aside his worries to help an old lady who in the end turned out to be a blessing to himself. I don't know what kind of seed you are sowing right now. If you are sowing evil seed and thinking, "Oh, it will not affect me in the future," think again. Because that evil investment you're making right now, not being concerned about other people, can come around to bite you. But you're on the other side of a coin. If you decide today to sow good seeds in other people's life by being of help, being of service to them in the best way you can, no matter how little, you're somehow paying it forward, and it will come back to you in no time. Sow good seeds. Wherever you find yourself, in whatever place you work, at school, in the home, keep sowing and spreading good seeds. And I can assure you that you won't go unrewarded. Serve other people. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed and liked it. If you are not yet subscribed, please click the subscribe button. And if you want to ensure that every time I upload a video you get a notification, turn on the notification button by the side of the subscribe button to be abreast with everything happening on this channel. Do not go away without leaving a comment down below of how or what you've learned in this video. We want to share in the wealth of your knowledge too. Till I come your way next week, keep sowing good seeds, spread smiles and blessings.